sugar be making your child's ADHD symptoms worse? Since we are right in the middle of the holiday season, I thought it was an important topic to hit this week. So stick around because I'm going to share information about how sugar affects kids with ADHD. And I'm also going to share some tips and tricks to help your family enjoy the holiday season in a healthier way. Now, if you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on any new videos about ADHD and how to naturally reduce symptoms. If you don't know me yet, I'm Dana Kay, a board-certified holistic health and nutrition practitioner, and I work with families all across the USA who have children with ADHD, offering effective, natural strategies to manage and mitigate symptoms. Okay, let's get started. We are consuming more sugar in our diets than we ever have before. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, the average American consumes 150 to 170 pounds of refined sugars per year. Wow! Compare this to the 4 to 6 pound yearly consumption of the early 1800s, or even the high yearly 90 pound consumption in the 1900s. That is a lot of sugar. That translates to 1/4 to 1/2 of a pound or 30 to 60 teaspoons of sugar per day. It's hard to believe you're capable of that. But keep in mind, you are not just consuming sugar in your coffee or your baked goods. It is hidden in the majority of foods you probably eat on a regular basis. Sugar is added into foods you wouldn't even expect. Foods like ketchup, barbecue sauces, tomato sauces, marinades, salad dressing, yogurts, breads, protein bars, peanut butter, soups, canned fruits, cereals, crackers, oatmeals, frozen dinners, and so many more. This list does not include the obvious culprits like soda, cookies, and ice cream, but these are just some of the many surprising ways sugar sneaks into our diets. Many parents overlook the importance of blood sugar management because they think of it in connection with diabetes, not ADHD, but blood sugar management is important for all of us, whether we have diabetes or not. Unstable blood sugar contributes to a whole host of problems. I want you to listen to the following symptoms of hypoglycemia, which is low blood sugar, and think about how similar they are to ADHD symptoms. Difficulty listening, inability to focus or stay on task, being easily distracted, quick to get frustrated and sometimes hard to calm down, unexpected anger and or lashing out, unable to sit still. Do any of those symptoms sound like your child with ADHD? When my son was really struggling, he had every one of those symptoms in excess. The ADHD symptoms many children battle with can be tied directly to fluctuating blood sugar. I read about a study recently that concluded that the more sugar hyperactive children consumed, the more destructive and restless they became. Children with ADHD do not need another thing to make them more impulsive. They battle it enough as it is without sugar, heaping on additional challenges. Now, another issue with sugar, along with blood sugar management, is obesity. It's no secret that obesity is a serious epidemic. 1 of 3 children and 2 out of 3 adults are either overweight or obese in the United States. Sugar's role in gaining weight is much more serious than just adding in some empty calories. Instead, it affects the hormones responsible for the feelings of feeling full or the feelings of satisfying your hunger. Therefore, it leads you to eat more and more and more. I'm sure you can see the problem here. Knowing this alone strengthens the case that there is a 60% increased risk of obesity in children for every daily serving of sugar-sweetened beverages in their diets. It is important to note that weight gain from sugar is often present in the abdominal area. This visceral fat breeds a higher risk profile for many other diseases, some even life-threatening. Sugar is a leading factor in the rise in obesity among many other serious health complications. Now, another thing with sugar is its role in cardiovascular disease. Contrary to popular opinion, saturated fat is not the main culprit for elevated cholesterol and cardiovascular disease. Guess what is? Sugar. You heard that right. Sugar consumption is a leading contributor to the #1 killer of this world, heart disease. Studies have shown that consuming a large amount of fructose can cause a rise in bad cholesterol, which is LDL, and can rise blood glucose and insulin levels and abdominal obesity. These findings were apparent in as little as 10 weeks. So, sugar can affect blood sugar levels, it can lead to obesity or cardiovascular disease, but did you know that it also affects the immune function? Your immune system is responsible for defending your body against illness. That's a big deal. Seriously. So for your immune system to be compromised, you are putting yourself in danger of pathogens that can make you very sick. According to a study through Loma Linda University, 100 grams of sugar can make your white blood cells 40% less effective in killing germs. On top of already putting your body in a stressed and irritated state, sugar directly affects your main line of defense against disease. The most alarming part about this is that the sugar's crippling effects stay present in your system for up to 5 hours after you eat it. Sugar also affects our brain quite significantly, and studies have shown that sugar slows down the brain's function, hinders new learning, and decreases memory recall. There are also strong connections between high sugar intake and the prevalence of depression and anxiety. I think by now you can guess that I'm not a big fan of so much sugar. Now, what do you think of when you think of a sugar crash? It is irritability, decreased mood, brain fog, and fatigue. Now imagine that not going away. Foods rich in sugar disrupt our brain's neurotransmitters that work to stabilize our moods. However, if we are continually disrupting the functions of these receptors, we no longer have the inherent control over our moods as we usually do. Now, according to Dr. Karazian, a functional medicine expert and author, this is a huge contribution to chronic depression and anxiety. So again, I'm sure you're beginning to really understand that excessive amounts of sugar are a problem for all of us, but really, especially for our kids who are already struggling with ADHD. Now, another problem with sugar, here's another one, it's addicting. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter responsible for controlling the reward and pleasure responses of the brain. And when you eat a lot of sugar, a massive amount of dopamine is released in your brain. And as you continue to consume sugar, the dopamine receptors become less powerful, making the response less effective. More sugar is needed to create that same dopamine reaction, that same feel-good reaction. And this continues into a vicious cycle, much like what happens with drug addiction. Sugar can take over our brain chemistry and deliberately make us crave and eat more sugar. So, now you might be wondering, what about sugar alternatives? Are there healthier sugars? If possible, you want to avoid these products as well, and I'm going to list them out. Aspartame. This chemical sweetener is best known for its appearance in diet sodas. Some people can tolerate it well in short term, while others report migraines and digestive distress. Regardless of the initial reaction, aspartame has been proved pretty dangerous in isolated situations. So for example, the University of Liverpool conducted a study where aspartame was mixed with a common food coloring. The results were clear. It was toxicity to the brain cells. Additionally, researchers found that when aspartame breaks down, it creates formaldehyde, a well-known carcinogen, capable of causing cancer. Scary. The next one is sucralose. Sucralose, commonly known as the brand name Splenda, is processed using chlorine. Chlorine! That can't be healthy for our bodies. Researchers are also finding that the waste of those consuming this sugar can't be broken down in wastewater treatment centers. So imagine if it can't be broken down in wastewater treatment centers, imagine what it's doing inside our bodies. The next one up is high fructose corn syrup. This one may be a bit more challenging to avoid. High fructose corn syrup is in almost everything in the United States. This sweetener plays a huge role in the fat buildup in our liver, leptin resistance, and major weight gain. A study even found that high fructose corn syrup is sometimes laced with mercury. Mercury is a heavy metal linked to heart disease and developmental disorders like autism. Don't worry, I will be suggesting some safer alternatives next. So some safer sugar alternatives include maple syrup. It's naturally sweet. It is derived from the sap of the maple tree, but it still contains its vitamins and minerals and natural antioxidants and fights inflammation. And if you've been following me for long enough, you know I always say the number one driver of ADHD symptoms is inflammation. 1 cup of sugar equals 1 cup of maple syrup. The next one is coconut sugar. Coconut sugar is a natural sweetener. It's unrefined and still contains all of its vitamins and minerals. It does not contribute to the strong fluctuations in blood sugar like other refined added sugars. The next one up is raw honey. Honey has less fructose and provides other health benefits, including promoting heart health and fighting inflammation. But I want to say, as always, too much of a good thing can be bad. So please keep in mind that these alternatives do still break down to glucose and fructose in your body, and all sweeteners should be used infrequently. So the American Heart Association recommends kids aged 2 to 18 should have less than 25 grams or 6 teaspoons of added sugar daily. However, in my experience working with children with ADHD, this amount should be cut in half. Parents should aim to have less than 12 grams of sugar or 3 teaspoons of added sugar daily. This does not include natural sugars found in fruits and vegetables. I do want to say though, with fruits and vegetables, fruits we want to aim for 2 to 3 servings a day, vegetables 5 to 7 servings a day. So if you're having more than that 2 to 3 servings of fruit every day and you're having 10 servings of fruit, that can then start adding to that daily added sugar. What can be tricky though is that sugar can be called so many different things in food. So some code words for sugar include lactose, maltose, dextrose, glucose, xylose, saccharose, sucrose, corn sweetener, corn syrup solids, dehydrated cane juice, dextrin, maltodextrin, malt syrup, molasses, rice syrup, sorghum or sorghum syrup. Now, one clue that really helps me remember these names is that many of them end in OSE, O-S-E. So when looking at ingredient labels, look for these OSE words and avoid them as much as possible. The less you and your family eat, the healthier you're going to be. So, what should you do about the upcoming holidays? How can you keep the holidays fun without excessive amounts of sugar? Well, I have some good news. There are ways to navigate the holidays without massive amounts of sugar. Navigating the holiday season, particularly Christmas, without succumbing to sugar overload can certainly be a challenge. But like I said, it's entirely doable with a little planning and mindfulness. Opt for homemade treats where you can control the ingredients and sugar content, or look for healthier alternatives at stores that really prioritize natural foods. When attending gatherings, consider bringing your own desserts or dishes that align with your dietary goals. Another key strategy is to shift the focus from food to the joy of spending time with loved ones. This way, the emphasis is on creating meaningful memories rather than indulging in sugaring temptations. Remember, a balanced approach allows you to partake in festive cheer without sacrificing your health goals. As always, if you have any additional questions about this or about other challenges you might be facing as a parent of a child with ADHD, please feel free to drop a comment below or send me a PM or email. Take care. Bye for now.